Hey guys, how you going? Part 2. Yes, I finally got to where I was going. Part 2 in terms of talking about builders with the recent news update with Pivotal Homes going to liquidation and Condev and ProBuild and all these other big builders going bust. I think even a company called Remy Capital that went to liquidation owing investors $70 million, which was shocking. So but yeah, look, let's talk about the fundamental things. The first one ideally is just avoiding the process altogether and buying established. I know for most people who hear me say that, saying, "Young, isn't that against your philosophy of, wholesale, you make your money when you buy, all that stuff?" Not really. If you're open to it and you use your brain there's a couple of ways. One is, okay, you could buy a renovated house, like owner occupied. If you're buying a house and it's done already, obviously there's less moving parts or very little or no moving parts whatsoever. You can apply that to units and apartments as well. Another application of that I'm doing at the moment, it does involve some risk, but it involves skill, but less involvement with contractors and builders, is just flicking sites with approvals. That's what I've done earlier this year. Bought it for 1.2, flicked it for 2.1. It's pretty cool. Got another site going at the moment in a similar vein. We'll see how that goes. But my point is, potentially getting approvals and flicking the site there. Another variation of that is if you're going to do land subdivision or projects like that, is just sell the land, don't do the full kit and caboodle. And that's a big thing I've learned earlier in the day. Like I was talking about that previous builder who went broke there. We were doing spec homes, and that was part of our model. We'd buy land. We thought we were getting a discount, but we weren't. Buy land, build houses, and try to get the margin that way. So there is a time that works, and in the market in the last 2 years, there was a gap for that. There was definitely a gap for that. But out of a 10-year cycle, you might have 2 out of 10 years where you can do that, where the land prices are going up and building prices are going up. So what happens is you lock in your land, you buy the land, you lock in the build price, and voila, because the market's going up over the 6 to 8 months that you're building your house, it's all gone up and you've made 500 grand. So as much as there has been a fair bit of money made that way, I don't think it's a sustainable model. People will argue with me there and they go, "Oh yeah, I've made money." Look, I've made money doing that strategy too, but if you're going to do bulk of it, and I'm talking 50s, 100, 1,000 of them, there's not many people that can sustain that kind of leverage without being hit with variations, unless you're doing it with debt-free, unless you're doing it with cash. So and that's the thing, is the guys and girls who are doing that, they're in a different ballgame. I'm talking about the typical mum and dad investor who needs debt, who needs to go to the bank and borrow the money, the 500 grand, $1 million to play this game and leverage themselves up, right? So if you're debt-free, you're cashed up, you've got monster cash flow coming in, you're in a different league. And I'm not really talking about those category of investors here. I'm talking about the corporates, people who are doing companies and trusts, mums and dads who are doing 1 or 2 a year and go in the bank and gearing up 80%, 90%, 95% because they've got very little cash to play with and want to get into the game and make it happen. So so one is to completely avoid or partially avoid that construction process, whether you're getting approval and flicking it, whether you're buying complete. That goes the same things with apartments and townhouses as well, or just do house and land there. The other one is just sit tight and wait for the market to go through. Other variations of it could be the type of contract. If you are going to do a house and land package, if you are going to do that kind of product, and this may not apply for apartments and townhouses, because if you, let's say, you're building and developing apartments and townhouses, you'll get a price there. But if you're buying an apartment or townhouse off the plan there, that may not apply as well, because you'll generally fix a price. When you're doing house and land, building house and land, there's 2 types of contracts. There's a fixed contract, which is a fixed price contract, which is definitely preferred generically speaking. And I hesitate just to emphasize on those words, is in a market like this, that's where the builders get hurt. So for example, it might cost them $150,000 $50,000 to build, they price it to you at 200 grand. They need that 50 grand margin in there to pay for their overheads and GST, etc., etc. It's a normal game. So, they price that in 2020, they start building in 2022. That 150 grand cost of theirs is probably now 230, 240, plus they've got staff and overheads that they've kept alive or kept in place while everything was going along. So a fixed price contract is exact that. Price is fixed. And in a normal market, traditional market, that's really what you want to do, is you want to fix the price. The price isn't going to go up, and just because the builder wants it to go up, changes it on a whim, right? So, but in the instance of this current market, right, for a builder to survive and not go broke on you, we call it cost plus, right? Cost plus, basically whatever it costs them, they pass it on to you, plus they put on their percentage margin, call it 10%, 15%, whatever it is, a cost plus contract. And obviously this is not financial advice, not legal advice. Go get financial legal advice for yourself. But yeah, with a cost plus contract, at least in that instance, it's less likely that the builder's going to go bust, right? Less likely the builder's going to go bust, because either way, whatever he or she does as a builder, they're going to make a profit. And that's what you want. I've always said to my civil contractors and my builders, this is important for me that you make profit. You might think that's funny. I've had other people make comments about me getting, I think, a solar installer or a photographer, and me paying 30 cents on the dollar or 50 cents on the dollar. I said, what? 50 cents, that's too much. But when you have a contractor who's on the job, it is important that they make a profit. And why that's important is you want them to sustain their business throughout your project, complete it, and still be alive and kicking 5-6 years, because they generally have a 6-year warranty after the build is complete. So my point is, a cost plus contract, even though it's not ideal, it will sustain the survivability of the builder. And so the ones that are using those cost plus contracts, so to speak, in this last 2 years, they will survive. The issue with that, to be clear with you though, is that most buyers, as customers, you want the best price. That's why you go, and you don't want variations. You want to know, okay, I'm paying $190,000, $250,000, and that's it. There's not going to be more costs, because when you go to the bank, you borrow a percentage of that, 80%, and if you need more money to pay for extras, you're going to come up with your own cash. The bank is very unlikely, or it's difficult, or it's not easy to get that extra 50 grand variation extra, because of the builder has had some extras there. So from a efficiency point of view, from a customer's point of view, right, fixed price is absolutely ideal. However, from a volatility point of view, for those who want to survive, you're really wanting to get this, the cost plus contract. So something to explore and something to discuss. It is a big deal, because when you're building a house, we're not talking about a $300 to $500 investment. We're talking to $300 to $500 grand investment. Oftentimes owner occupier. And if it's investment, you want the numbers to work as well. So if you're looking at a 500 grand investment potentially blown out by 10 to 20%, and you haven't even cut the dirt there, that can be quite dangerous and quite daunting as well, because that's what you want. You want a good return on investment. So, and that's a big part of why, over the last 12 months, I actually haven't developed anything personally, right? Haven't developed anything personally. So it's my phone ringing. I haven't developed anything personally, so part of that strategy is there's been opportunities for me just to get approvals on my sites and flick them. So I've taken that opportunity to move on and take that opportunity to cash up without the headache. So does it mean that I'm out of the development industry completely? No. The last 30-lot subdivision we completed, that was the last works were in March, April, May, actually 2021. So we'd already signed that contract in June 2020, and that finished in March, April, May 2021. So, I'd already sensed the variations there, and with builders and civil contractors, prices going up, when they talk about no availability of this and that, no availability of this and that, that means essentially you've got price hikes going up regardless. So that's part of why in the last 12 months I've been focusing on acquisition, getting sites that are profitable, riding the wave there. You know, some sites that we pegged in at 20% have gone to 30%, 40% even. But the key is buying right. And on the next couple of videos, I'll talk more about basic fundamental strategies. Rather than this stressful news that you might recoil from or coil from, because you're hearing it again and again and again about builders going broke and businesses going broke. So that's part of the boom, is more builders, businesses go broke during a boom than any other time because of the volatility and the instability of the industry. And it's one of those things. It's a very stressful time, and I am glad I'm not building many houses. I'm just doing one mini boarding house at this point in time. I'm experiencing delays there myself, but because my dad lives up the road from it, I'm just getting updates at this point in time. One of my delays is installing the CCTV camera, which I will do next week. The slab's down and the frame's up. I'll get some CCTV footage which I can share with you every couple of weeks and give you an update on my challenges there. So all good. Hope you're enjoying your week so far. Enjoy your weekend. This is Young Advanced Property Strategy signing off. Hope you got some value from that. Any questions, please post it there, or any experiences you want to share as well. It's not all doom and gloom with the construction industry, but like with anything, there are risks, and you just need to be aware of them, especially in this point in time. It's just more risky than it has been in the past, especially at this point in time. So logging off, catch you later.